1967, and you're up for re-election.
Yes, I am.
Okay, well, thanks for speaking with us. Thanks very much. And just give us briefly a bit of background about yourself.
My name is Carolyn Davis. I've been involved in city politics since I was 22. I've served on a number of boards and commissions since I was 22. And some of the boards and commissions that I have served on has been the African American Museum. I've been on the CDBG Commission. I was on that board for about 3 years. While I was on that board, I was able to work with my colleagues to rally about $500,000 for the Bear One initiative. So if you go on Bear One, you'll see some of that project that's being done as we speak. I was in D Magazine as 50 Who Make Dallas Work back in the late 90s. I served on Forward Dallas, Comprehensive Plan. I have been on the board of Preservation Dallas. I love preservation and historical houses and neighborhoods. I've served on many capacities, and those are just some examples of some of the boards I've served on. Since I've been on the council, I've gotten some few awards, too, and some of the awards that I have received. The C.A.W. Clark Community Service Award, the Acorn Housing Award, and I was named the Dallas Firefighter Woman of the Year. So I was really excited about that. And been a PTA president, been involved in the school district as much as I could and wanted to be. So I have served on a number of boards. I'm not going to go into all the boards, but those are some of the examples of some of the boards I have served on.
Okay. So you've been doing active community affairs long before you got into city council?
Absolutely. And some of the things that I have worked on with this community, it just wasn't a Carolyn Davis, it was the community coming together, the coalition to keep DART accountable. And one of the things we wanted to do was to make sure that we had a voice in where the rail alignment goes in this neighborhood, meaning South Dallas proper. And of course, I organized that coalition to keep DART accountable, went and raised money to hire some outside consultants who could work with us and make sure that they had our best interests working with DART. We had several meetings, and as you have perhaps look outside, you can see this wonderful alignment that's coming down J.B. Jackson, which is known as Trunk Avenue. And so we're going to be breaking grounds in September of 2009. We estimate over 300,000 people.
Yeah, I saw the construction.
The construction is going on. But it was a give and take relationship with Fair Park. We had to give a little, take a little, until we came up with a compromise, meaning Fair Park and this community, on how we could work together to get both what they wanted and to still get some of the things that we also wanted as a ridership. The purpose of working this coalition to keep DART accountable was to deal with our ridership. This area has the largest ridership in the city. The 44 Oakland at the time, where people was catching the bus, and they still are. But now, since you have the train in place, more people are kind of doing some bus use and some train use. But to have a transportation DART system in this community, I think is a plus. And those were some of the things, making sure, working with Enterprise Rent-A-Car, when they came into the community, we did a covenant agreement at the time with Enterprise Rent-A-Car. And Enterprise has been a good partner in this community. They give it back to the community, and that's because of the covenant agreement that we did with them. And a number of things is just making sure that the trees that you see down Martin Luther King, and there was no trees on the street. It was just bare. So working to make sure that we got the trees that we needed, some enhancement that we needed on Martin Luther King, and just my environment and housing, and working in the housing nonprofit environment for a number of years, and just being involved in HUD, CDBG grants, and working on behalf of people who didn't have a voice. And that was my feeling, and it still is that now, working with people who didn't have a voice, or who was afraid to speak up, or about things that I think hit home. And I think city politics is really important. This is where it hit home. I know we look at our state senators and our state representatives, but city government, it affects all of us.
Sure.
Because it's here. You see the trash, you see the code, you see the police, you see the fire, you see the boarded up houses, you see all the things that can make a neighborhood better, or it can bring a neighborhood down. Zoning plays an important part in a neighborhood. You can be zoned out of your house. You can be zoned out of your neighborhood. So that's why I got involved in politics.
And so it's odd that the national elections get all the attention and the big turnout, and sometimes local elections don't get as big a turnout.
Sometimes even with this election coming up, and it's a Mother's Day weekend, so it's expected not to be a large turnout, but it should be, because city politics, I think, is an extremely important politics, because it plays such an important role in your day-to-day life. Your water, your light, your gas, all of that affects your city government.
Right.
So
you've been serving on the council since 2007, right?
Yes. They call us newbies.
Newbies? Even after a couple of years almost. And when you got onto the council, was anything surprising to you about the way things operated? And was there something in particular that you were trying to get done that you're still having trouble doing?
Well, I had the experience of being down at City Hall for a number of years. It's the bureaucracy.
Yeah.
It's now that I'm on the council, our city manager, and I remind people that this is a city management form of government. Our city manager tried to juggle 14 council members, and of course she wanted to please all of her 14 council members because she reports to us. And so trying to get those projects in and get them done and make them happen, that sometimes can become a little frustrating. But you have to just stick with it. And you have to be able to know, you have to write this stuff up. In my office, I have a tag board, and I write down all of my projects. I write the ones that I think are important, the ones that I can kind of wait and try another 2 years. And once I decide on that, then I go to my city manager and say, Mary, how can we make this happen? What can we do to make this happen? And of course, it's always finding the money.
Yeah.
That's the most frustrating thing, is finding the money. Because this city, and until I got on the council, it has so many things that it have to have the use of money to operate. And people don't realize that. You have to have money for your firefighters. You have to have money for your police force. You have to have money for your water sewer. You have to have money for your housing. You have to have money to keep the city services just going. Lights, the lights. If this whole city went totally black, it would be chaos. So you have to have all the money to keep all of these services, to pick up stray dogs. Health issue, dealing with the homeless, senior service. All of these things are in a budget, and you only have so much limited resource that you can work with at the end of the day. And so you just have to stay with it. You just have to stay on top of it. You just have to make sure that you're involved in that piece of the pie.